Vancouver Canucks and the Golden Knights is a series preview for them. So I think it's best to go with how did they get here. Golden Knights won their round robin, got the first seed, and then they handedly beat the Blackhawks in a series that I think surprised a few that they were challenged a little bit by the Blackhawks, but they were outskilled. The whole thing, the Blackhawks and the better team won. And the Vancouver Canucks surprised a lot of people, I think, by even just beating the Minnesota Wild. I think people had the Wild down for that one incorrectly. I picked the Canucks, but the next series I don't think anyone saw. I mean, 5-on-5, they did get a little bit lucky sometimes, but they especially in the last few games, they closed it out. They beat the St. Louis Blues, and here they are off to the next round. So I'm obviously going to say that Vegas are the favourites, and in my eyes, I mean, I'm wearing a Canucks jersey here, but I do think Vegas are the favourites, and in my personal view, I do think they're going to win the series, and we'll go into why in a moment. But the one thing I do want to say, if you are a Canuck fan watching this is so good for the franchise right now, with these young players getting this time and learning how to win and what it takes to get there. That if they lose this series, it's still been a great ride. This is one of the... I don't think I've missed a Vancouver game thus far. I've watched them all. And they have been the best games to watch. And just watch Patterson and a few others just kind of grow in front of our eyes and be complete stars. Hughes is probably going to be one of, if not the best defender in the league coming forward. I actually think he might even be better than Kyle McCarr, but... I mean, we'll see how that all works out in the next few years. But, I mean, at least you both know they're going to be both at the top there. So I wanted to preference that. So let's break it down. The forward pressure that the Canucks are going to be under, I don't think that they can sustain a high level of scoring across all of the games. Now, this might be a different series. This series is going to either go two ways. Either the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be able to play it their way, score a bit, and just stop Vancouver from scoring and get them to 1 or 2 goals and win the game 4-2. Or it could be a complete blowout where it's just like who can get the most goals in a game, and that would be the funnest to watch. Or it's just going to be a back and forth series. There are 3 ways it's going to really go. I don't think a defensive grind of 2-1 wins is going to happen often. If it does, Vegas will win. But I don't think they're going to extremely play that way. Even though they play a very defensive system, they generate a lot of scoring from that defensive system. So they are very aggressive. And you saw that a lot in Chicago. They were getting a lot of turnovers in the neutral zone and immediately swiveling that back for 2-on-1s, breakaways. Just good scoring chances in general. My one real concern for Vegas, my one real concern for the Vancouver Canucks is they have one player that they really need to worry about, and it's not the name that you think I'm going to say. It's Riley Smith. I actually think that he is going to be a huge difference this series. The guy has been point a game in the playoffs since going to Vegas, so it's now three playoff. Well, obviously once this one's over, it'll be 3 playoffs, but he has been phenomenal. And he just flies under the wings and just keeps getting goals, just keeps getting assists, and he's looking really, really good. So outside, if you can shut down, maybe a Stone or a Master Show or a Carlson, you've got this other guy who can go a point a game. And that is, I think he's just going to be lights out this series. Paul Stastny as well, he's been a bit quiet. I think he only got the 1 point. But I would expect him to come out as well, as depth starts to be a real deciding factor in this series. And I do think Vegas' depth is not only a lot different than Canucks, I think it's a little bit better. Plus, they can play a very physical style. I mean, you've got Reeves and whatnot. So I do think they'll be able to wear down this team. The longer the series goes, the worse it is for Vancouver. And I just don't think with the special team numbers and the amount of power plays they're giving away, I just don't think they're going to be able to dine out in a good power play like they were able to in the Blues series. For most of those games, the St. Louis Blues did outplay them 5-on-5. I think we can all say that. Not all the games. They played very well. Like I said, I'm so glad they made it this way. But they, sometimes they weren't the best team. And you're not going to get that with Vegas. You're just not. They never got the goaltending together either, the Blues. They swapped between Binghamton and Allen a few times. It just never worked for them. They just couldn't keep the puck out of the net. They had horrible defensive lapses. They just They just weren't there. You're not getting any of these with Vegas. So yeah, I just have a feeling that this really is Vegas' series, and that there's a few different ways that they can win it. And it doesn't matter what the Canucks do to change the way that they play. I don't think they have an answer to this team that may go on and win a Stanley Cup. They've got the goaltending depth. Even though Markstrom's been very good for Vancouver, I feel like, if he has a rotten game, they've just got to go back with him. Like you can't be playing around with this. Where Vegas, we'll probably start with Leonard, and I do think Leonard's the better goaltender at the moment. I might end up eating crow with that if Fleury gets good, but having that Fleury in the background to be like, hey, win us a game, win us two, take the series on its own. It's just shades of the Penguins when they won their cup. Just being able to, if one goaltender stumbles, you can throw the other one in, and a lot of people forget that in that Murray Fleury thing. There was a few times that they swapped, in the middle of like round 2 and stuff to get one of them to win a game. So yeah. But it's amazing that Vancouver have made it this far. It really is a good step for this franchise. I still think they're a few years away. I think this is the exception to the rule, especially with the cap problems that they're going to have going forward. Now, there'll be a video on that down the road, and maybe some ideas on how to fix that. But I just don't think that they're right there yet. But at the same time, credit to them for doing everything that they've done thus far. I would be remiss if I don't say Quinn Hughes is amazing, but I just don't think their defense can just hold out, and that bottom 6 is so overpaid for what you're getting. Louis Eriksson yet to get a goal or an assist thus far, although they've won a lot of games with him back in the lineup, so maybe he had some other thing that I don't know about, because I think they're like 7-2. I read with Louis Eriksson in the lineup, so I just looked at that and I was like, it's almost scary. Like my brain exploded. But yeah, I just don't think they've got what it takes. I would expect the bottom 6 to score a little bit for Vegas. I think they will be able to outdo what you get with on the Canucks side of things. And again, maybe a difference maker. But yeah, I think Vegas are going to win this 4-2. And they may go on and win a cup, but I think this is the best thing for the Canucks, that they've gone on to beat the defending cup champions, and then to play this team. If they lose, they lose with complete pride. It's not going to be a dark time for this franchise. I think it'll be celebrated. Throughout, it'll be like, oh, remember, they beat the Blues and that. Like, it'll be things that a few people talk about, especially if they go on to win a cup down the road. I feel like this will be one of those pivotal seasons that sort of help blossom them into that sort of route. But yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Vegas. I have a feeling this may get a bit high scoring on their side of things. And I think like their PK's running pretty high. It's like 89%, so I can't see them dining out in special teams in Vancouver. And they weren't giving a lot of penalties either, because they're quite fit at the moment. And I feel like they versed 2 teams that maybe fitness was an issue, so they were getting some good power plays. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Sorry, but yeah, this is the one that I put Colorado as a bit of a lock, and oh boy, that's already not looking great. Seeing that the Stars kind of woke up today, so we'll see if they can keep that going for a whole series. But yeah, I think this one's pretty safe to say. But yeah, good on the Canucks for getting this far. And I might be wrong; they might prove me wrong. In which case, I'll be the first to be on here and be like, that was amazing. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the whole video. If you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed. We're up to 155 now, so we're really growing at a very, very fast rate, actually, because, I think 10 days ago we had 70, so we've, doubled. And it's just motivation for me to keep making these, so yeah. We've got another season preview with the other game tomorrow, and then we'll have the Flyers one, probably tomorrow, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you, and bye.